So we recognise it as additional pressure, but it's not. We're not putting a red light on the university. This is just part of the way the city functions and has to function. We have to take it into account.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Charlotte. Any more questions? Pete?
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Marvin. Just a couple of quick questions on the stuff that was coming out of the ecology declaration from last week. You mentioned, or the council says it's going to try and find at least a third of the land will be managed for the benefit of wildlife by 2030, which means finding new spaces for nature to thrive in the city. I'm just wondering why sort of keeping the plots of land that you already have for nature and ecology isn't included in that, because it would appear to be a much more simple way of doing it than trying to find new areas of land for wildlife in Bristol.
I'm losing your distinction there, Pete. You're gonna have to explain your question to me a little bit more. Sorry.
Well, one of the first aims that came out of the One City ecology stuff last week, emergency strategy, was the top one. The top priority was a space for nature, which means having at least a third of land in the city to be managed for the benefit of wildlife by 2030. Mm-hmm. It goes on to say it means finding new spaces for nature to thrive. But my question is about sort of protecting the bits of land that the city already has in which nature can thrive.
Yeah, unless you've picked something out that I haven't, that does not mean all that 30% is new land. It means 30% of our space is for nature, including our existing land, but it does mean finding new land within that as well. So we've talked about nature corridors, for example, going from the centre of the city, the waterways, right out to the coast, working with North Somerset. We would then have to identify land within that route. So forgive me if I'm missing it, but it's our existing land, but the new sites that we're going to find in addition to that.
Okay. Yeah. I'll come on to a specific example then, I guess, which is kind of what I'm getting at. Residents that live near a plot of land which has been called Brislington Meadows, I don't think they call it that, but Homes England own the land, and they're quite concerned, the residents, that Homes England have been flouting the rules. They've been cutting down the meadows before an ecology survey has been carried out. They've been putting signs up saying private land, Homes England, when there's public right of way on it. I mean, this is the kind of sort of stuff that developers do from time to time that just goes completely against the spirit of declaring an ecological emergency. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts is on that kind of specific behaviour that Homes England seem to be doing.
No, so if you read the beginning of the ecological strategy, and this is something we are very keen to point out, what it is not is an anti-development document. What it is a document that sets out a series of really challenging aims in the face of other challenging aims that we have. So we have to build homes for people. What we're doing is, we're not saying, okay, now the city's just going to stop doing stuff. What it's saying is, in the face of our need to build homes in places like Brislington Meadows, we will also be identifying land for trees and nature. So, I mean, the specifics of what you say about Homes England, I mean, that's a government body and it's a very solid partner for us. And, you know, I mean, we recognise the sensitivities around areas, but it's the same as I said around Western Harbour when we were down there talking to the community. We have a climate emergency. We have a housing emergency, we have a poverty emergency, a hunger emergency, ecological emergency, and we have to deliver on all those things at the same time. So the challenge that the ecological emergency is going to take on is, how do we deliver nature while at the same time actually building in Bristol, building homes and building workspace? So I guess that's one spot within Bristol. It's important. It's an important discussion, but it is one part within an overall city landmass that we're going to be managing. I guess
I see a point, but I guess, you know, in that small example, it kind of speaks to the fact that when push comes to shove, that the homes are more important than the rights or whatever of the hedgehogs and the slow worms, and that actually developers can do stuff that, you know, kind of overlooks and disregards you know,
Pete,
the sort of
I tell you
basic,
what, mate.
yeah.
Pete, I mean, you know, I got big love for you as a Bristol reporter, but you're making an argument that wouldn't stand up in a sixth form debate there. It doesn't speak to that. What you've done is you've taken an issue in a complicated city in which we're trying to deliver on 1,001 issues at the same time. And you try to take from that single contested space a general rule that developers can do whatever they want. And that's not the case. There are times when aims within the city come into conflict. Building homes and nature, air quality and economy. I mean, we could clean up the city's environmental impact by just stopping the economy, right? That's in fact what's happened through COVID, right? Air quality is cleaned up because no one's been going to work. But look at the other side of that. We just talked about it, the job losses. But that's not what we do. Our challenge as like mature city leaders is to say, all right, we got some wicked dilemmas here. How do we navigate our way through them? It's one of the reasons we put the Sustainable Development Goals at the heart of what we're trying to deliver as a city, because rather than taking single issues, they take 17 issues that collectively talk about sustainability, from life and land, life on sea and climate, to women's rights, unemployment, hunger, quality of government, quality of work. And that's what we're doing. So there are no general rules of subterfuge or conspiracy or QAnon that come around because of what we do with that space. It's about managing the overall city landmass.
I guess I'd just like to go back, in which case, to my first question, which was what you make of the fact that Homes England have done two things there that are quite clearly against the spirit of consultation and pre-development process.
Well, I'll have to go and have a look specifically about what the nature of those charges are. Homes England is like I say, it's a national government body that manages billions of pounds on government's behalf to get affordable homes built for people. And I would say my conversation, I had another session with Homes England just last week, and a national Zoom as part of their staff day, that are taking the Sustainable Development Goals very seriously, and welcome the fact that we are pushing the Sustainable Development Goals very seriously. But it is without question that just like in real life, in the lives of individuals and families, it happens in the city, that sometimes you want to get two things done at the same time and they compete with each other. And our job is to say, well, if I can't afford the price for this good thing, what else can I do to mitigate the cost that we're incurring to deliver that good thing? We have to build homes for people. That means building on land. If we can't avoid building on land to build those homes, then we can look somewhere else to say, well, how can we mitigate that? It also comes into the question that, to be honest, was sometimes handled quite badly about if you want to keep the surface of the land free for life, we do have to look about density and height. Again, that we tried to have that conversation in a bit of a mature way back in the day, but that wasn't always helped.
That's all I need now. Thank you, but careful
right,
of
thanks,
insulting sixth form debaters.
Oh, well, I can see your tweet right now. Again, you know that's not what I was saying. It was a point, but there you go.
It's fine.
Thanks.
I was praising sixth form debate because I said it wouldn't stand up in the sixth form debate, Pete. So you got that wrong. And I'll be checking your tweets to make sure you've communicated that accurately in the full lines of BBC, the royalty that there is.
Super. Okay. Any more questions for debate? Yeah, Adam.
Hiya. Hi, Marvin. Morning, everybody. I'll try not to be too sixth form debate-ish. I'm really sorry.
I'm praising sixth form debate. I'm just saying, please meet the standard. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, it's a high benchmark.
It is.
Really sorry about this. I've had a dodgy Wi-Fi this morning, and I dropped out at a couple of crucial moments. The second being, I think